your mind is producing many big mountains if you let your mind do it. So yeah.
So before the business, before this big decision,
Mm.
you were working as what exactly? Can you share
Um,
with?
I was working as trainer and coach internally in a company, working with the people there, helping them to develop on their business journey, on their way through their work life, giving workshops, trainings, also offering programs for young people in the company on their development ways, but also leadership topics, team trainings, individual trainings and coachings. And also just doing more strategic work together with people in leadership positions when talking about their stuff, their people, when they want to help them to develop and how to do this, how to align, also with changes of time, going through changes with their teams. Then I want to invite you to come and sit comfortably in your meditative pose or any other comfortable pose. And if you like, close your eyes or keep your eyes slightly open as you feel right now. Let your breath flow. And sense yourself. Sense into your inside world. Be aware of how you are sitting, your sit bones touching the ground, the chair, or wherever you are right now. Straighten your spine and move upwards your spine, up until your crown chakra, aligning your full length, shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed, face relaxed, and also your mouth. Sense yourself inside. Acknowledge the world, the space around you. And sense yourself in this space. Your completeness, your oneness, your connection. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Second time, inhale. Exhale. With the third time, inhale deeply. And on your exhale, exhale all that wants to leave right now. And whenever you feel ready, slightly open your eyes again.
Welcome. Thank you for bringing us in here, Katja.
Yes.
Welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, dear listeners. I have the pleasure to introduce you to Katja Piernhamer, but you also have a spiritual name, yes?
Yes, right. You want me to tell it?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's Kirin Dave Chot.
Yes, Kiran Dev Jot. And we met each other in Italy during a deepening weekend with the teacher Sadhna Singh.
Yes, right. Hmm.
And what struck me is that you had I think you had a quite a good business life, good job, but it didn't make you happy. You longed for something more meaningful.
Hmm.
And one day you just took the decision, you just cut off the business ties and you went into the setting up your own spiritual presence and helping others. And it was such a beautiful story. I think that many Kundalini yoga practitioners feel, but to really make that decision to go that way, that takes courage. So I want to invite you to this podcast because I want to highlight this story, how you were able to manifest that and what you've gone through. So thank you so much for coming here.
Yes, I thank you for being here and have the honor to talk about this topic because I remember some years back, and this is not so many years back, but it feels already a kind of like ages, that I was at exactly that point, having to decide, do I move into self-employment, part self-employment, and what to do if I want to do this, what more the practical things, like what do you have to know about taxes and setting up a business, more also the legal things, but even more stepping out of my job, one thing, and stepping also out of the yoga center I was teaching at that time and going really on my own. So also more the mindset topics, my inner world topics, rather more than the more practical ones. And yeah, I had to grab all the information together. And one day I also met one of my former teachers in teacher training, and I asked her some questions, and she said, hey, maybe other people would also be interested in, and let's do an Instagram live. And we did it 5 years ago, and we got so much positive feedback and thank yous about it, that I thought, okay, my topics are also moving so many other people. I am not alone. This was also a big learning for myself, and that it's so important to share what moved me. And most probably there are many other people with the same topics or questions. Yeah.
And how does it feel now if you look back?
At the point I am now, there are always new exciting things, of course. Looking back, it's like had my 4 years anniversary with my own yoga business this year. As I said, it's just honestly a small amount of time, but it feels as if I have done this for all my life in a way, or it feels already like a lifetime. And of course, the things in the beginning that were such big mountains and question marks, they feel, of course, now small. And it's like when you did it, you know you can do it, and then the big mountain is gone. And so this is my strategy in a way to, if I want to try something new, I have to relatively immediately do it, to know I'm able to do it. So to prove myself, okay, I can, and this must be fast, and now I can go more slowly, but I know I can do it. This is one of my biggest learnings from going step by step by step, and it's possible, and I always do only the steps that are possible for me, and then move forward and go the next step. So this is also how I moved out of my job. I did not leave everything behind me on one day, so I also took it step by step, reducing my former work, also taking a part of my former work which I did in a company as employed trainer and coach. I took this part with me in my self-employment, and am combining like my yoga business and corporate training business now. So I took the best things out of my old job into the new world and try to follow what I really like and not to do too much of the things I don't like so much, which are also still, of course, there. Yeah.
And you talk about this big mountain, but you stepped on it, you made it step by step.
I
Now,
made it.
yeah, looking back at this big mountain,
Mm.
was it really so big as you thought it would be, or?
After you climbed it, you always know it was not so big. No. So the first enlightening moment was when I went to my tax consultant because, oh my goodness, I don't know anything. I cannot register a business. I did not know what to do. I always was also afraid if I do something wrong and I would get punished or something like. And then I had this appointment. He explained everything so well. He also helped me with the registration of my business and everything. This was just a 2-hour meeting. And after that, everything seemed so easy. So this is what I mean. Doing it, and then after that, knowing it was not such a big mountain. But your mind, your mind is producing many big mountains if you let your mind do it. So yeah.
So before the business, before this big decision, you
Mm.
were working as what exactly? Can you share?
Um, I was working as trainer and coach internally in a company, working with the people there, helping them to develop on their business journey, on their way through their work life, giving workshops, trainings, also offering programs for young people in the company on their development ways, but also leadership topics, team trainings, individual trainings and coachings. And also just doing more strategic work together with people in leadership positions when talking about their stuff, their people, when they want to help them to develop and how to do this, how to align. Also with changes of time, going through changes with their teams. This
Sounds like a very interesting job, no?
absolutely totally interesting. And I did not leave because I did not like my job or I did not
Mhm.
like to work with people. It was more like in this frame of being employed, I had the feeling I cannot move on with my yoga business, with which I at that time already had as a side job, as part self-employment besides my normal job. So it was a hard step to go because I also liked all my colleagues and I liked to work with the people I worked with. But I think I left at the point where it was still quite beautiful to work there. But I left like more, not because of I'm not feeling well and it's bad, but I like it, but I have to move on. There is another calling, which I have to follow. And I left at the best time or best point after 11 years in the company. So,
Wow. So
mhm.
you left a comfortable position. You left
Mhm.
nice colleagues.
Yeah.
Probably you left a nice stable pay.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Wow. What was the calling that was so big, that was so worth it?
Yeah, I like to work more freely and more creatively. Not that I could not work free and creative in my old work. Also, my team leader, she gave us a lot of freedom to create our trainings and programs. And still, I needed to go on and grow my yoga business. And I also reduced my work in the company already to a 50% to give me more freedom. But then there is again this point where I had the feeling I cannot do my job well still, and I don't have the space to create out of my yoga business, to have more offers, also to offer company yoga for other companies, which would maybe then be in a conflict with working in a company. Like, yeah, stepping into self-employment gave me more freedom to follow what I wanted to do. Let's say it like that. And more decide where I want to go. And maybe I also have to make re-decisions because it's my first year, honestly, now in my complete self-employment. And it's sometimes also a trial and error, or finding out which way is the right one. And you also know when you do it, where to adjust maybe also a little bit later. And it's not about making mistakes, but coming to a point and also thinking, maybe this was not the way I wanted to go, or I had expected it differently. I take the other direction, take it a new try, or be creative, have new ideas, find solutions, and create for the people who come to my yoga classes, to offer them experiences with Kundalini Yoga. I also had the honor to have or to do, and to learn so much from my life I'm having right now.
And how does that? So you were working at 9 to 6 or so, right? I mean, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes. So you had a very stable rhythm. You chose for freedom.
Mm-hmm.
How does the life look like now?
Oh my goodness! In the beginning, it was a complete roller coaster. So I would not say that I'm not a structured person, but I was for more than 11 years. So because before this job, I had other jobs where I went to companies. So my work life was a really structured thing, like going there in the morning at 8, working like in the evening, being together with other people, having breaks, having meetings and trainings, and knowing exactly what is next, what I have to do. When you do it on your own and for your own, I have really had to find a new structure for myself. It's so beautiful that I can decide most time. I can decide. I do what I want when I want it, but then it takes a lot of discipline, and structuring my day to really do it, and not say, oh, I also have time tomorrow, or I like to sleep in today, I sleep a little longer, then I can do it later on. So it took me really quite some time to find my own structure. Also, not to go to an office and meet all my colleagues and be socialized with other people automatically by going to the office, but being at home most time on my own. Of course, I work with people, I talk to people, my yogis are coming to the classes, but still it's not the same like having your colleagues and your team around you. This is still what I miss the most. These outside structures that a normal job is giving you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the freedom, it's beautiful, but it can also be challenging in a way. But I handle it. I try to give myself the structure and make plans and lists. And also, of course, my yoga routine is helping me, like getting a good start into the day, also regular starts and endings of the day, and giving me the security back when I sometimes lose it.
Oh. And was it worth it to make that big change?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So of course, sometimes I always come again to a point where I think, boy, it's really exhausting. It's painful. It's stressful, but it's also so beautiful. So sometimes, of course, I also question this decision. but then the universe is always sending me some kind of sign, or we had such a beautiful yoga class, or something is happening, or offers are coming, which I could not have done or taken with still being employed in a company. And it's a challenge still, but I was even more in a panic mode 1.5 years ago after taking this decision and really speaking it out in my company. I relieve, as you mentioned in the beginning, I left quite a big comfort zone, and I really had to arrange myself with this decision. And I more than one time in my mind had the conversation with my former team leader to say, hey, I stay, I take my decision back. Can we talk? I didn't mean it like that. But looking back, I really well worked out of that. And I'm myself quite often surprised by myself that it works, and that, I can go through challenges and, work it out and see it's working. Mm.
Yes,
And
of course, it's
trust
kind of
that
scary.
it will go on. So yes. Mm-hmm.
But and what exactly? I always would like to understand this challenge really good, because I think a lot of people might relate to that. What was it exactly that made you want to maybe redo your decision and go back to your leader and say, maybe I can come back, maybe this is not the way I wanted it to be? What was the uncertainty?
It was the financial security, of course. Also, not of course for me. So I'm a person who needs some kind of security, reliability, and not knowing what is going to happen, if it will all work out how I had planned it, of course, made me some kind of feeling insecure, and knowing there's always a certain amount automatically coming to your bank account, gives some kind of security. And this is so like the biggest part. But I did some good meditations to work on my feeling of safety, of feeling of prosperity, abundance, trust, trusting the unknown. And this really worked quite well.
Oh, really? Maybe you should
Really,
share that.
right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because does yoga just work on in your experience to deal with uncertainty, trust, and abundance? Does it work?
For me, it does. Yes, definitely. Yoga and even more meditation is helping me a lot to go through challenges. Not this, especially all kind of challenges that life offers from time to time. Not to run away, but to stay and move through, and then grow after, learn from, maybe also redecide things, but stay or come back to myself when I lost myself a little bit, or the monkey mind that is going on, like bringing me back to myself. Often strong movement, and after that, deep meditation is helping, and the regularity and routine that it's bringing with it is it was and will most probably be helping me to move through.
And because this challenge is still there, right? Like being a spiritual entrepreneur, you don't have any certainty.
It
How
will
does that
always
feel
be there.
now?
It will always be there in a way. Yes. As
How does
long
that feel now for you?
Can
How
you?
does that feel now for you?
I'm always every day surprised by myself that I can be so calm right now with the meantime. Now we all had the summer period, and most yoga teachers know that summer is more maybe a little low. People go on vacation, on holiday, even especially if you are having in-person classes also, these go always a little bit down, maybe in summertime. Also, companies don't do that many trainings in summer. So I faced now my first downtime in summer, and I worked really well with it. So not having this big income in that time, but knowing fall and winter are coming, and normal life is coming back. And so, going on, believing and trusting in it. Yes. Mm.
So how does a normal yoga business day look like for you then?
I start with yoga and meditation, not business-like, but for myself. Sometimes I also teach an online early morning class, either my own program, or I also work for my teacher and her online membership program. And there I sometimes teach, jump in, and then the day starts with the early morning yoga class. Most times then I have my breakfast, take my time for myself. And then there's always something to organize, to prepare, to do. People have to know that you offer your yoga classes and yoga programs. So marketing is a big part of my work. Finances, bookkeeping, those very beautiful topics. And connecting, networking, also very structured things like preparing a company training. Also, like I cannot tell you I have one day that is exactly the same as the next day. So this is also what I like about my job and life, that not each day is the same as the next day. And sometimes I leave very early my house, move to a company or go to a company to have a training or business yoga. So it's quite very different.
And these businesses, how? Because I think many teachers come to this point that they realize, okay, I can sit in the studio, or I can go outside. I can go to people. I can go to companies. I can, you say, network.
Mm.
How does that work for a yoga teacher? How do you introduce, or how do you convey yourself, or compel them to try out with you?
So social media is a big part, not only showing myself and presenting myself and being present, but also for networking, because you really meet people, and behind so many profiles are real people, also from my region. And then don't be shy and connect with other people, write them, call them, ask them to meet. Go to events where you meet maybe also Sandesh, to have contacts. Move out, of course, be present on events, on festivals. I teach also on yoga festivals, also to present myself. It's also a lot of fun, but it's also being present for myself and for my business. Talk to people. And always when you talk to someone, this person will tell you something about his or her business, or knows someone who does something. So really it's a lot with talking to people, writing to people, not being shy, just asking and telling what you need.
What
And
if I say no? What do you do about that?
then I accept it. Maybe I ask you for the reason, and if we could rearrange something, that you would say yes. But if you are not the right person, then I trust another one. This is for a reason, and another chance or possibility or another networking person will come. So don't be too fixed on this is what I need, this is what I want, this person is the right one. Go there with a kind of ease, be there, and sometimes you need to make a little push maybe in some directions, but then be and release your expectations, let go all expectations, and mostly in this moment things will come. Not always super easy, but this is my experience. When the pressure is too high on things, there is a knot on the line and nothing will happen. And as soon as you could mostly unconsciously let go, then things happen, things flow, things are coming to you. Yeah, it's not like making magic, like, no, I'm here and I'm meditating all to me, but it's doing a little bit, seeding some seeds, like talking to people, telling your wishes, telling your pictures, your visions, just talk about it. And then maybe someone says, wow, oh, that sounds good. Let's do something together or so. Yeah. Send out flyers, send out emails, especially because also you asked how to connect with a company or so. This is not such an easy business because companies are the bigger ones to get somehow. This also works mostly about knowing someone, working somewhere and having a network and having the connection, the personal ones mostly.
Mm-hmm. And what are the main arguments that you would bring to a table when you talk to somebody from the corporates? Why bring in yoga into the business?
This is especially in the corporate field still not so easy. It's also depending very much what is the vision of the company, how do they act and work. But the main focus they would have is that their people, the employees, the people working for them are comfortable, are healthy, are able to do a good job for them. So this mostly is the argument that people can do a good job supported by meditation and yoga.
Are they becoming more productive, or what is the feedback you get when clients ask you to train a team within their business?
So yoga can have both or many effects. It can bring you down when you are stressed or super overactive maybe. It can also help to activate when you are tired. It can help to focus, to get more clear, get more clarity, work more effectively. So many different directions yoga can work on.
And is this what you were? Is this the impact you were looking to make when you wanted to move out of your comfort zone?
So it's not the focus to bring ease into companies. My focus is to share and move on the experience I was able or still am able to do with yoga. And this was also my reason to do my Kundalini Yoga teacher training, to have the skills and the tools and the techniques to share, to offer the possibility to people to make also their experiences with yoga. And this can be in your work life, this can be in your private life, this can be a mix, this can be for your regular practice, this can be for challenging situations. It's more like in a general way to offer something that people can take to help themselves in a way.
And how has it helped you personally in your life? Why did you choose Kundalini Yoga?
I chose Kundalini Yoga, not really consciously. Maybe Kundalini Yoga chose me. I'm not so sure. I started practicing yoga 2014. And I went to a yoga studio in my town. A friend had recommended it to me. She went there for a pregnancy yoga, and she said, and I said, I also want to do a something. And I did not, at that time, I did not know nothing about yoga. It's just like, maybe it can be good for me. And then I went to the yoga studio my friend recommended, and by no coincidence, it was Kundalini Yoga. And I still exactly know where I sat in my first yoga class, and I know still the feeling I had with the first tune in. And it was love at first sight. And from that point on, I went to my yoga class week by week by week by week. And also not really knowing what it was, but sometimes something worked in me, and like not also knowing especially what, it feels like, okay, I have somehow to move on, something has to change. So it helped me to work on myself. And my yoga teacher at that time, she offered a whole year's program, especially for women empowerment, connecting back to yourself. And yeah, parallelly in that time, I also had some private changes in my life, and this program helped me so much to take decisions, to move through these challenging times. And the result was in the end that I decided to do my teacher training the year after then. Yeah, it worked a lot, or it helped me to work a lot on my self-worth. So I had in the end the feeling I'm worth it teaching Kundalini Yoga. Before, the big teachers are doing this, not me. I don't know the techniques. I just go to my class, that's fine. But something already had worked in me. And yeah, in 2019, by the end of that year, I could take the decision to sign up for teacher training and go that way. Yeah, and then the way it happened, like in a way, I did not take the teacher training because my final decision and plan was I want to be self-employed as a yoga teacher. I took the training, and then let's see. I was quite clear. I also want to teach yoga after teacher training, and I already started during my teacher training, mostly in the beginning. I started to teach my yoga classes in the yoga studio I went regularly to. But then it worked and worked and worked in a way. And after like 8 months in the yoga studio, I took my decision to move also out there and found Sublime Yoga, my own yoga business, and yeah, go there step by step. And also expansion was not my plan. It happened. People came to my classes. I started with a Monday class, then I expanded with a Tuesdays class, and so on. And when you work with people and talk with people and know maybe the wishes, the needs, the longing of the people, you also can offer what finds resonance in your community with the yogis, with new people that are coming then to your space.
And was it worth it all giving up all this security, stability? And while you didn't know what was going to come, but you were just listening to this internal voice, what did that bring you? That you all of a sudden you feel you want to move further, and you just keep on listening to this. What is that? I mean, for the listeners, is that okay to do?
I think you should always listen to your inner voice. Of course, knowing, is it good for me? Is it good for others? Live and follow your inner voice, always deciding, am I still living with my values? What are my values? But I would say most times your inner calling, your inner voice leads you a good way, the right way. Most times when you resist your inner calling, you go a strange way in a way. Sometimes it's a bypass, it's one step more, also necessary maybe for something. But yes, I can say for me it was really worth doing it. And yeah, I can take so many decisions on my own for myself. I can only take decisions for myself and not for others. I can take my decisions, I can act in a way, I can offer something, and those people who think they resonate with, they will move with me on this way or some part of this way, and others will not. When you go through Kundalini Yoga training and also change a lot of your life and many parts of your life, you will also realize that there are people who were in your former life that are not so close anymore, maybe, or don't want to go this way with you. And so many others will join, new people you meet, new friends you make. So it's bringing also a lot, or brought me a lot of change also in my surrounding and the people I'm with.
So if you
Privately working with, yeah. Mm-hmm.
so if you look at your personality before you stepped into the yoga class and your person now, what's the difference? How does it feel?
Mm-hmm. So I'm also a psychologist, and as a scientist, you learn as an adult person, you don't change anymore your personality, like really the traits you have developed, but you change your behavior, or I follow even more my calling. I live even more my potential, with which maybe I did not so much in earlier times. So it's like not going for too many compromises. One big sentence I learned in Kundalini Yoga teacher training, and this is guiding me, is know who you are. Know who you are. And when I have to take a decision or have the feeling a situation is not really good for me, I ask myself, know who you are, come back to yourself, and then decide how it's good for me, how I can go and live with my values. Yeah, and this is maybe one of the big differences that I changed, to, yeah, to know who I am and to live my potential and to move on. And
You didn't do that in your business. That was not possible.
it was possible to a certain degree. So I don't want to say I had a bad job and I needed to leave because it was completely not what I wanted to do. I had an interesting job. I also started there at a point directly after studies, freshman in a way. I also learned a lot during these 11 years I did in my last job. I also took a development from, boah, this is all new, this is all big, can I do this? Exactly the same maybe as I'm also facing in this new period. So there was a lot of space to grow, to develop, to learn. But then somehow in a company maybe, or in a department in a company, the possibilities are used up maybe at a certain point. And if you then don't want to do a routine job the same, although my job working with people, offering workshops and programs, and like it's also not the same every day, but nevertheless, in a way, I had come to a point where I think I have to move on. not because it was bad, because I needed to follow something different, to have more expansion and more development in another way.
And what's the coming, like, if you, what do you have a vision for you and the coming 11 years, let's say, the way you can expand? Is that different? Is that something you, is that surprising for you that now that potential is becoming possible? Or how do you relate to your potential now?
Knowing what Kundalini can do or can offer and support, it's not surprising to me. I also, looking back on my old job, how I offer and deliver trainings and teachings, I also changed a lot because of Kundalini Yoga and all the trainings I took within Kundalini Yoga. I also got more, self-reliant, more present, also more clear in speaking and delivering my workshops, my teachings. And no, it's not surprising me knowing the techniques of Kundalini Yoga. Yeah.
And do you see yourself having your own school, training your own teachers? How do you see yourself in 11 years?
Having the experience that if you would have asked me about my future 5 years ago, I maybe would have not told you I have my own yoga business. I will leave my job. I will teach and teacher training and so on. So, of course, I have my vision. I want to move on with all of that. I also want to take the shift to maybe reduce even more the company trainings, or maybe have the luxury to really choose this one I like, this one I don't like. So having this possibility, and to go on and grow the yoga, the yogic work or yoga related work. So this is really very welcome to get even more bigger part in my life, in my work life also. And it's so funny because it's not so a big difference. Is this work for me? Is this my life? Is this my passion, what I'm doing? Is this my love, what I'm doing? And this is also what I like about, we had summer holidays right now, and next week my yoga classes start again. And sometimes people ask me, do you have still time off now? And I say, or I think to myself, how am I defining this? Because I do what I love. Is this no work? But I teach yoga. And so it's like this mixture that yoga is a part of my life. And if I can, in a way, live on that, this would be my dream. And then I want to stay open for the next 11 years, what is coming. So you need a kind of vision, of course, perspective, but stay in this open-minded space to let the things also come to you.
Mm. And what is your inner voice telling you now? I mean, you made the step, you're now full time. So what's that inner voice saying?
Yes. Looking back, also, like now talking to you and rethinking all this way I did. And sometimes there are situations where you have to tell, or you are allowed to tell about your way. I realized what I already did and what I managed in the last years. And I can quite be really very proud of myself. And I so often, of course, forget that. And this is very healing, to make your list. What did I do the last years? I also went to celebrate my company, so my own company's anniversary every year. So also to just remind, hey, look back what you did, and celebrate with the people, inviting people, also giving something back, of course. It's so important to note yourself down what you did, to not forget, and to be able to go on and live out of this abundance I myself created for myself.
Wow.
Mm.
That sounds like a quite an achievement, huh? To know that you can create whatever you need for yourself. You're not dependent on anybody else. You don't need the permission to do so. You
Mm.
have this discipline because it is challenging, right? You have all the freedom, but you need to carry this
Yeah, yeah.
responsibility.
It's always the both sides of the medal,
Mm.
right? But yeah, as long as the good things or the good things have the bigger weight for me, it's fine. I'm fine with. Mhm.
And you say that you can learn a lot in the Kundalini Yoga. What is more next to teacher training? You said something about a women's empowerment course. Can you tell us something about the deepening experiences that you've gone through once, on this path of learning in the Kundalini Yoga teachings?
Um, what I learned most is that love is there. I maybe forgot that some years ago that and my heart was quite closed. And this is one big thing, one big learning that the Kundalini Yoga did to me. Or I also one day some years ago I said to my teacher, "Oh, Kundalini Yoga so often already saved my life," and she said, "May I give you the perspective or offer you the perspective that you saved your life or yourself, your soul or yourself, and Kundalini Yoga offered the support to do so or gave you the techniques and the tools to always come back on the path, on the way, whatever it was at that time." Kundalini Yoga gave me self-worth or work on myself to feel worthy, to know love is there, love exists, also trust in it, also in situations where I don't feel it that much, knowing it's there, and it's this big love thing. And also in critical situations, mostly with other people, giving this little bit of love into your life soup, and experiencing what only this mini thing of love is changing in the whole picture. This is what I learned a lot. Yeah, follow my dreams, setting my boundaries, and also saying consciously yes or no to things. These are my personal teachings. I think there are even more, but I think these are the main ones which apply in so many situations and parts of lives.
And I wanted to ask you, where do you teach? Where can people find you?
I live in the south of Germany in a small town called Offenburg. So if you are nearby, I'm quite happy if you come to my in-person classes here I have two spaces, a bigger one in a village near my town, and the other one is in my home. So you can find me online. All my classes are hybrid classes, so if you are a little more far away, you are super welcome to join my classes online. I offer online programs with pre-recorded content, which you can book over my website. Yeah, and there is more to come. I'm offering a retreat in October, so also there are still spaces left free if you need a little more time out in the wonderful Black Forest. But my regular classes are in person here in my hometown and accessible online.
And you also help with the teacher training.
And I help in the teacher training. This is happening in Berlin. We face a little change in format and maybe also in the place where it will take place. But so far, it's the teacher training with Panch Nishan in Berlin. And there I'm in the organizing team. And also, you also find me in the meanwhile teaching in the program, smaller parts bigger parts. Yeah. And this is also, these are quite different things, having my normal classes, being in teacher training, and also the mix is making it really very beautiful.
Wow, that sounds like quite an abundance of different ways to share your lessons, right?
Absolutely.
What would you love still to do in ways of sharing Kundalini yoga? Is there something that you still like think, okay, if I could do this still, that would be really nice to add to the mix?
I love to have the mix. My normal classes. I like, or my plan for the next year is to expand also my online yoga offers. As I mentioned, like the programs where you get pre-recorded content, maybe also in a mix with live content, to also have for myself a little bit more flexibility, also not being so dependent on the place and space where I am. Online gives you this possibility to also move or be in another place, but also offer your offerings. So this is a big plan for the next year, to expand in online yoga. And for my own development, my goal is to move on teaching in trainings. Must not always be the teacher training, but offer also different kinds of workshops that go even deeper into Kundalini Yoga.
And how has private? So you say now I live my life with being entrepreneur, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but before there was a really a private life and a work life, and
Yep.
now it's one.
Yeah.
Is that challenging, or is it how do you relate to that this change, or how do the people around you relate to that?
Mm. So, as a yoga teacher, teaching other people, take care for yourself, look for your health, do what is good for you. You also, as a yoga teacher, you have to care for yourself. So this is a big challenge, to take breaks, because when you love what you do, you sometimes forget that you still are working, that your mind, your head is concentrating, your brain is working, even if you do something you love. I think if you are passionate with something, it's rather maybe faster you burn out when you don't take conscious breaks. So this is a big challenge. I get better. So in the beginning, when you start a business, there is in fact a lot to do, and you are, so I am a one woman business, so I'm each department in one person, so there is a lot to do, of course, but find your rhythm and do it in a structured way helped me a lot to also take consciously, maybe take the weekend off, or if I have a workshop or an offering on the weekend, which to most yoga teachers sometimes happens, consciously take a day during the week off, so you have your free time. But the parts, they melt. And I also like that Kundalini Yoga, I cannot say today from 9 to 5 I'm yoga teacher, and afterwards I'm not a yoga teacher anymore, like, or Kundalini Yoga is then not part of my life anymore. I like that it's part of my life, also after 5 o'clock. So it melts, and you have to care for yourself where it's good for yourself, and where you have to take your breaks and your time off also, and also take classes for yourself. I forgot that. I teach. Sometimes I need also to take yoga classes, just only private for myself, and just to receive a yoga class. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of important, right?
Absolutely.
Or else you can grow the spiritual ego that I know everything, but there's so much to learn still.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is what the last years especially showed me. There is always something to learn, and I'm also interested in learning and not stopping. Mm.
And your friends, your personal relationships, have they seen you? How do they see look at the change?
So there are friends that know me quite a super long time. Some of them, they think, who is she? Did I know this person before? Because there are quite some changes, things that I don't want to do anymore, new things I do, which I myself maybe 5 or 10 years ago would not have imagined I would like or I would do. There are friends that I know a long time that go with me, that understand. Mostly friends that are going also away, a path of development, not necessarily Kundalini Yoga, but there are many different things you can do in your life. And people who are with me or are on their own development way, they understand a little more what I'm doing, what I'm going through, why I changed me, myself, my life, my habits. And others maybe are more surprised, need a little longer time to understand that. Yeah, some leave completely from your life, some take a longer time, some are with you, and some new ones come. So yeah, of course, if you go through changes, and I would say my life changed in the meanwhile, at least up to 80%, I would say. It, of course, it does something to the people who are with you, even the people who are with you a very long time. Mm.
And taking all of this into consideration, could you ever imagine yourself going back to a stable job and working for a boss and having a stable pay again?
Only if money is running out and I need to live on something. This would be the only reason. All other aspects I mentioned that are so positive, yeah, no, I would not take them back and go back. No, not really, not really. Only if, yeah, financial situations would force me for whatever reason. Mm-hmm.
And talking about the practice that gives you such stability or sense of stability, and I think that's the key, right? How to find your stability within the instability, because right,
Yeah,
entrepreneurship
yeah,
is instability.
yeah.
Can you tell about a practice, a kriya or a mantra that really helps you to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some listeners will think, "Oh, I have the same thing." Share some of your practices.
I over 1 year, I recited the Bahuta Karam, the beautiful mantra about abundance and prosperity. This helped me move on and trust. And it's all about pre-fulfillment. So already be so full that you can go on and that it's easy. And if there is a mistake happening or something not working out as I expected, it doesn't matter. I'm still so full. I can go on, and I still trust and I still believe. This mantra helped me a lot.
You just sing it all day, or what? How do you practice?
Recite it 11 times per day. Yeah. You can also listen to it during the day, the whole time. But I decided for myself to do it actively, not just listen what someone else is chanting, but sit down in my meditative space. And also, after I had learned it, I recited it on my own without a recording, just actively doing it myself to bring me myself into this vibrating space, in this frequency of positivity and trust and abundance.
And do you have this training also in your online classes?
The Bahuta Karam
Yeah.
training? Not yet, but it's a good idea. But I can tell you, without actively teaching it, I was telling a friend, I'm doing this mantra. I'm meditating on this mantra. And she said, she's also not super deeply into Kundalini Yoga, but she knows. And she said, what is this? Can you send it to me? I sent her a recording. Some days later, she said, okay, I'm also doing it. And she told a friend, and the friend also started to chant the Bahutakaram. So it multiplied it on its own in a way. And her children know the mantra in the meanwhile. So that's a funny or a very beautiful kind of teaching, not really sitting down and saying, hey, I'm the teacher now and I tell you now, this is good for you, but just by doing, maybe talking about or just telling what you yourself do, and others thinking, that could also be nice for me. This is also a way I like how I find maybe my next 40 or 90-day practice or meditation, by going to a class, practicing the meditation, and then it finds me, and then I know, this is my new daily practice. Then it's this one I need maybe at the moment or resonate for the moment with. If I force myself, I do this or that meditation, it will most time not really work out, or it's not so practical.
Well, I look forward that maybe one day you come and teach this mantra on a summit of ours and share it with the public.
Absolutely, I would love to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because abundance is something that was not a given fact to most of us, right?
No. I also learned it from my teacher, that there are different mantras. Also, the Japji is helping me a lot, emptying my mind, reading the Japji, Song of the Soul, like just before going to bed, just calming down. Yeah, this is also how it came to me. I one day thought, I give myself the challenge now to learn it, to recite it on my own. And this was in an evening. So somehow it became my evening routine, also without deciding it, just how it was. So it's most times my before going to bed routine, and it's bringing me down, it's calming my mind, and I can also measure my state of mind when reading it. When the mind is going still, right, left, up, down, then you make mistakes by reading, you get stuck in reading, and then I think, oh wow, okay, I know there is still something happening, and then I can bring myself back. This is also a really nice thing to do.
Well, thank you for sharing your journey, but also some of these two jewels. You find calm and abundance in your life.
Yeah, and it's so often it must not always be the big kriya, the many exercises. Sometimes it's just a small little 3-minute, 5-minute tool you do, and this is maybe your anchor in your day, and for the moment it's enough maybe. So sometimes people think, I cannot do yoga, I have no time for this and for that reason, but take your 5 minutes a day, start where you are, start with this time you have, and then move on.
Thank you so much. Do you want to say anything else to the person who feels they have a desire to step out into building their own spiritual business or involving more into yoga, but they are afraid or they are unsure, they are clinging to this comfort of business? What would you say to them?
Follow your calling. Don't ignore your calling, no matter what kind of calling. It can also be something different than moving into self-employment. This is the main message. If you have a calling, if you have an impulse, if you have a voice inside telling you something, and sometimes you also don't yet really understand what the voice is telling you, but go on, listen, and one day you will know what yourself are telling you. And then move on, and it must not always be this one big step or this one cut off. Sometimes you need it, maybe, but from my own experience, for me, it was possible to go step by step and always go the next excellent step you can take. Or if you think, no, this is not possible, then try to think, how is it possible? Which way is now possible for me? And then go this step. Maybe it will lead you to the next possible one. So really listen to yourself, what is possible. And this is how it happened to me, going step by step. Also I do things today. 5 years ago, I would have said, never, ever, I will do this. And then I needed some steps in between, also some ways going back, taking an extra loop, and then being able to do exactly the same step I was not able to do the year before. But after the extra loop, I was able to do it. And yeah, listen what seems possible for you, and then go your possible step, so you don't get completely lost and completely afraid. But if you feel the longing to move, then move.
Thank you so much. I completely support you in that. Thank you for sharing that, because if we don't listen to our inner voice, then I feel that you might regret your life.
Absolutely. What you did not try, you don't know if it would have worked, and this is what you regret in the end. And if you try and then you realize, no, not for me, then you can always change your decision. This is also quite important to tell. If you decide today, I step out of a job, I want to try self-employment, there is always the possibility to go back to a job. No one says you have to stay there if you don't like to stay there, or if it's not working, or if you feel too insecure. There's always a possibility for a new decision, and this is there every day, every minute. It's not everything forever.
Thank you for this wisdom. You're right. This brings us to our ending of the podcast. We'll share your details in the podcast descriptions, and I'm looking forward to receive a teaching from you about the mantra of abundance. And I wish you many more steps.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. I would love to add, if anyone listening has questions, needs some kind of support, feel free to contact me. Just sometimes a conversation already helps to get some blocks out of the way.
Great. We'll definitely share your details. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Mhm.